how to buy a house in 2022 with me and our team, and it's gonna be the best experience ever. Sometimes it sucks, sometimes it's great. I'm Trey with the Capital Group, brokered by Real. Let's dive right in. Step one is going to be watching this video. Well, it's actually picking an agent, but you're good there. So it's going to be, what are your needs? So we've already discussed, or soon to discuss, what your plan is. Do you want to buy acreage? Do you want to build from brand new? Do you want to renovate? Do you want to buy a single family? Do you want to buy quadplexes? Do you want to buy a building? What is it in your goal that you want? Because there's a couple of different processes that we go through to make sure that you're not wasting your time or money. So if you're buying a single family home, the single family home is going to be up to you with price point and the payment if you're financing. So if you're buying, let's say, a $400,000 house, you're gonna have a set payment. It's gonna be a little fluctuations depending on tax rates. If you go outside the city limits, it's gonna be a little less taxes. Inside the city limits, it's gonna be a little higher. So the first step is finding the information. Second step is talking with a loan company. So once you have that information and we have that pre-approval letter, that is the green light to go inside houses. Now, some people ask, why do I need to wait for the actual pre-approval? Can I go see a couple? The answer is kind of. So you can see some open houses, you can see Open Door, they just let you in for the most part. You can window shop, but because of COVID, sometimes listing agents require you to have the pre-approval. I don't want you to fall in love with the house and then it becomes a bidding war and then we miss out because you do need a pre-approval to submit an offer. So the best way I can say it is, you're like a sniper. You're going to window shop, you're gonna look, and then when you're ready to purchase, you're gonna be in the right position. You don't have to pull the trigger until it's perfect for you and your family. So that is gonna be the best way. Once we're in a position where you can take the shot for the house, then we can start looking inside. Now you don't have to buy, there's no rush, there's no pressure. If you don't wanna buy, that's no problem. Once we find a house you love, we're gonna do a lot of research. We're gonna find out what the house is worth. Is it priced correctly? We're gonna do all this back-end stuff, because 20 or so days into the agreement, if you're getting a loan, an appraiser is gonna go to the house. He's going to tell you what he thinks it's worth, and he's part of the non-biased opinion that the bank hires. I wanna make sure you get the best deal. So I'm gonna try to get this house with the least amount of your pocket and the least expensive to pay the seller. So that's my goal throughout this whole process. And also the risk is, once they accept your offer, you're gonna have to write a check called the earnest money. So there's a couple other things in there, but the earnest money is the major component, and that is usually 1% of the purchase price. So if you're buying a $400,000 house, you're gonna have to write a check for $4,000. So our team coordinates that once the offer is accepted to the title company. That title company cashes it and they hold the funds. Now, it's very, very, very rare that you'll lose that $4,000 money, because with the agreement comes a lot of deadlines. We're very used to tracking these deadlines. We have people and staff for that, so you don't miss anything. Once you get into the agreement and it's executed with the seller, then it goes into what's called an option period. So we get the check, title company has it, now the option period starts. That is a time frame anywhere up to 10 days where you can back out of the contract, the agreement, for anything that you find not fitting for the house. So let me give an example. Let's say we get the home inspection, and let's say the inspector says, this house is gonna fall down on Tuesday. This is not good. Or there's something in there that you're not comfortable with. Let's say the roof needs total replacement, the foundation's messed up, whatever it is that doesn't make you comfortable is a reason to terminate. That can be done extremely easily in the option period. Once outside of the option period, it's a little bit harder to get out of the purchase agreement, but it is possible to get out of the purchase agreement after the option period. It's just not as easy as it is during the option period. So once that is over and you're comfortable with what repairs are going to be done by the seller, or maybe some money instead of repairs, then it goes into the appraisal part. There's a couple other things that we follow up on, but the appraisal is going to be the major hurdle. So let me give you the 3 possible scenarios that can happen with a home appraisal. So let's say your purchase price is $400,000 and we agree with the seller for $400,000. The appraiser comes in, he's gonna do very similar research that I did in the beginning, and he's gonna come up with the number. There's 3 situations. He can come up with $400,000, which we hit it right on the button. Great. That is met, we can go to closing, take a pretty picture, everything's wonderful. The second outcome can be, what if he says, no, this is worth $420,000? Well, you know what? That means you made instant equity. Yes, you made money before you even moved in. That is always the goal when purchasing with us. So we're going to have the appraiser come out there and hopefully he appraises it for more. The sales price doesn't change. So if we agreed on $400,000, that's the price it stays. You don't increase the price if the appraisal comes high. So that's great news. The third outcome is the least and the worst, but we've been through this many times before, so it's no problem. We know what to expect. If the appraisal comes back and it says, hey, this house is only worth $390,000 and you guys agreed on $400,000. Well, the good news is once we made the offer, we talk about the possible outcomes in the very beginning, so it's not going to be a surprise to you. So once the house comes in at lower, we can renegotiate the price, or there's protections in the purchase agreement where you are protected, and if the seller doesn't lower the price, you have the right to terminate the agreement if you want. You'll know about these protections before you make the offer, because in a multiple offer situation, you tell us, hey, if the house doesn't appraise, that's okay, I'll pay the difference. So you'll know that in the beginning in those outcomes before the appraisal happens, because appraisal doesn't come in till about day 20, 25 or so. So it comes in pretty late. After the appraisal is done and settled and negotiated and all the terms have been met, now we go to closing. That's the exciting part. That's where you're gonna close on the house, pretty picture, sign everything, 1,000 papers, kill 4 trees. That is where you're gonna take possession of the house once you sign, and the bank, if there's financing, wires the money to the seller. It makes it a free and clear title. Title then calls me and says, hey Trey, please tell your client they got the house. That's pretty much the process of how to buy a house in 2022. Sometimes it sucks, sometimes it's great, but you know what? Starting the equity early, the fast possible, is going to be the best, because if you start your equity early, your house price, as it goes up, your payment doesn't go up in terms of principal and interest. So we want to pay off our house and get the equity so we can take a bite of that equity sandwich as soon as possible. And when you're ready to move out, you're gonna have some money in that house and you can cash out whenever you'd like. Thanks for watching. This is Trey with the Cavalry Group, brokered by Real.